Okay, I just have to point out, like, if you can see how white it is out the sun. Like, it is the thickest fog coming in. And I was thinking, on the fumigation thing, because, I mean, literally, like, it's so weird how nature and how you can see through the trees. It's crazy. I couldn't see through any of that stuff since I moved in here until now. And it's, so exposing. But how thick the fog is. And I was thinking, I wonder if it is that the fumigation works so well, because it seriously was like a tent. And the way they created the atmosphere, and I think like around, because like if you're surrounded by mountains, then we have a certain atmosphere that comes in from the ocean, and then they can meet it. I mean, we have like probably the perfect breeding ground for whatever it is, whatever they're testing on us here that's killing nature rapidly. And man, today, oh my gosh, I don't know what is going on, but with my stomach, it is just back to that like water diarrhea. And I was like, oh my gosh, this, it's poison. It is fucking, we are being poisoned. It's just, and it's like, some of the things you don't even know. What can you do? What can you do? I mean, just go to the bathroom until you die. I don't know. I shared some videos, of the, because I was doing all of these nature, trying to get people to take a minute to meditate and listen to bird sounds because it's so good for your mental health. And, and that's why they want to get people in concrete jungles where there's no nature, and then they have this, what was I saying? Oh my God. Anyways, so I was doing those bird sounds out there, doing the nature sounds, and it's really noticeable. And then plus I was showing stuff out from the trees. It is very, very noticeable, because even, I was doing these videos of like storms and stuff and the rain. Like, I don't know, I've been documenting all of this stuff. And to just see a few months ago, the difference in the trees, it's crazy. And there's people in total denial. There's people like, well, we've got birds. It's like, yeah, well, you're a different experiment. Thank you. I'm in lab over here, P&W. So we're trying to see like how many people, I think it has to do with probably weed, alcohol, antidepressants, and anxiety medicine, because it seems like we're big suppliers of all of those things. And no telling, I mean, I'm sure we have got a huge, our share of addiction, addicts in the street and stuff. Like, I think there's other places that probably, some inner city places that are, but, they're turning most cities into like just homeless encampments where, when people become distressed and down on themselves, down on their luck, they turn to something to make them feel better. And what does this society provide? Alcohol, weed, drugs, toxic behavior, because it's not really for us. And these people who think like, oh, they just tell you do this. It's so simple. Do this, and everything's fine. They're not really here for you. Like, the stuff they are doing now to get this stuff inside of us is mind-boggling. I just saw a girl, and she made such a good point with the water thing. And she was saying, okay, because we know the frequency, we know the chemicals, we know that there's a reaction occurring. We can see it in the clouds, that they form patterns. So we're, hyper aware for some of us of what is happening. But so this girl, and this made so much sense, because they do this stuff with these proteins and stuff inside of us, and they are messing with the DNA. That's their thing, is trying to, what can we do now? Like, with humans or human beings. And we've been in experiments since the beginning. So, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised that it's still continuing. But so something with the water, and she was explaining, she got all of this from this, she had bought a Dasani, and on the top of it, it had a double helix, and then it had these 22 lines going around with 2 taken out. And she was saying, she went and she looked all this stuff up and she shared the documents and stuff that she found in her research. But something is something in the water, like a protein or something that interacts, like, because we have all these things they put inside of us. So the reactions that are happening inside of us, for some people especially, is shutting their DNA down, which is making them sicker and sicker, which, then they'll just die. But it is, it's shutting it down. So, are they just watching to see? Are they watching to see? Do they know certain people will be the ones who will continue because they know certain things about DNA, because they've been studying like they know this stuff. Like they're so far advanced scientifically with the technology and their understanding and what they're doing and what they're watching and stuff. People just don't really realize. And, scientists that get all the way up in there, they are working for a different system, a different governing system, like they'd be sitting there with reptilians and stuff like that. Like there's whistleblowers who talk about this shit. So, if you go and you start really listening and opening your mind, and I just heard somebody right after I was just saying something about, it's so crazy because I'll say something, they'll go in and it's all these people making the same point, because once you get tapped into the universal information, they're giving us the same messages. No matter where people are getting them, we're all getting these same messages. And, like concurrently, or whatever the word is, like it's all happening at once. And it's so crazy too. Christina yesterday, she even said that they are seeing glitches, but I'm seeing so many people, like crazy stuff that people is seeing. Like this one lady, she went in her kid's room and she was doing something, and then all of a sudden there was 2 pairs of shoes. She only bought her daughter one, and she was showing them. They were literally 2 pairs of shoes. One was a little more worn out, exact same shoes. And she's like, I only bought her one. How was there 2? She was freaking out. I saw this girl yesterday, and she was showing there was something on her bed that was running around on her bed. It was like under the covers, like an energy that was under the covers, and it was like puffed up, and it was just going all over the place. And she was freaking out. She was hitting it and trying to get it to stop. Then she changed the comforter, and it kept doing it with the other bedspread. And then there's all sorts of people talking about they put something down and then all of a sudden it's moved, things are disappearing and then showing back up in weird places and stuff like that. Like, is it these realities that are like crossing over, like it is weird. I think that it's, I keep trying to get the word in my mouth, the Cabanucci or something, that spiral thing where it is, where the realities are going to cross paths, like we're in that time period. And, and I don't know how much stuff CERN has to do with it or whatever. I know what I do know for myself. What other people believe, that's, we all believe to what we believe and what level we understand things. To me, we are energy, and we are out there in the cosmos as an energy source, as a part of a solar system, a bigger body of energy, and that we can project ourselves in a dream. We are dreaming this existence from that state of being. And then we dream ourselves and we think that it's all real. That is what is just so fascinating to me, how real things feel. Like when you really wrap your head around how fucking amazing that is, that to be able to have this opportunity to like go in and feel everything. Like imagine that, like if we could just put on glasses and then go into a virtual world and we feel it all, because that is what we're doing. We are here in a virtual world, feeling it and experiencing it. And it really is like a video game. Like it really truly is like these different levels. And, you do everything and you conquer this one, and then you move your up to the next one. And it's like, okay, then you go through all of those challenges to move up, to elevate, to move your way through enlightenment, for yourself. It's you who gains your knowledge and gains your power, and it's you creating your own experience, your own existence. But you have to play the game to level up. You have to play the game to be challenged so that you can grow and expand, if you get what I'm saying. So I just find it really fascinating how it all works. But I 100% believe, we're in a dream. And so this is learning to, master that dream, to control it, just like in lucid dreaming. When we go into a dream, it's like a practice. Like, at what point do I go, oh, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. Oh, so I want a door right there. I'm going to walk through a door. I'm not going to be chased by this person. You change, you take control of the dream. And that is what we're learning about here. And it's crazy because I don't know, just watching how this is playing out with all these different people. And it's weird because, and I don't mean this like in a snotty way or something, but I just spent my whole life feeling like there was something wrong with me, that I was an oddball, because of the things that I knew and I understood, and I try and talk about them. And I was just weird to people. And so, I just went through my whole life feeling like something was wrong with me, and I was trying to like figure it out. Like, how could I do better? What am I doing wrong? Why am I so different than all these other people? And even after my brain injury, like I said, after, when I felt so insecure for so long, and then I was talking to my mom, and I said, it's weird. They tell me my IQ's gone down so much, and that all this stuff that makes me insecure. But then I go out and I talk to people, and I still feel like I'm smarter than everybody. And it isn't about intelligence. That's the thing. Like what we think of as being smart or not smart or something like that isn't what we think it is. It is like, I have always been having, it's like an extra, it's like an advantage when you are listening to the universal consciousness around you. You have an advantage to reality, to awareness. And, and it's the awareness, it's the paying attention, it's noticing things. And maybe I was hyper alert because I was born into an abusive family, and you had to be like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? Like, you had to be on guard. What's happening? And that does do something to you. But whatever, all of the things that happen, they happen to form me for who I am. So I was supposed to go through those things. And I really do look at my life now. I went through so long feeling so beat down and so targeted by life. And then, when you develop through your healing and stuff like that, and you start realizing about the purpose and stuff, then you feel like a fucking warrior. Like, damn, I put some pressure on myself and I fucking did it. And I didn't fuck people over. I wasn't a fucking bitch to people. I stayed true to my true character. I was a kind person. And, I was, there's just on TikTok right now, there's like, it's very explosive. Like, you got people just freaking out. Like, there's ghosts in their house. There's energy, like all sorts of stuff. There's glitches happening in reality. I've seen the weirdest shit with people showing with the birds in the sky. Like, birds like, I saw one yesterday, and the bird was flying through the sky out of control, but nothing was moving on the bird. It had no control, and it was kind of tilted sideways, and its wings were stuck. It's like, oh my God, were they right? Are these all mechanical? I've seen them just sitting out there, just stuck, not moving at all, with their wings stuck, like weird shit. And so, anyways, I think that, I've got a whole bunch of things where I'm going in a whole bunch of different directions. But, for me, when I was, I took all that on as being like, something was wrong with me. And then, when I started seeing like, oh, no, these people are just, it's lost. Like, that whole thing, really, when I learned that thing about the lower chakras, that really opened my mind. But there is, because of the, it being on autopilot and being in where you stay in your wounds and your pain and suffering is all in your lower chakras. You know, when you move up into your heart chakra and you open yourself up to love, acceptance, and forgiveness, and you move up into your throat chakra where you speak your truth, you show your real self, you go out into the world as a confident being, and you go into your crown chakra, you know, you open yourself up to universal consciousness. You know, you acknowledge it, you know, it's real to you. And so, you know, it's all of this expansion in those connections change your life, all of those different things. So anyways, you know, when I started noticing that, then I started being like, oh, all these people aren't healed. And then you just start looking around, and so this has all been developing for me since 2020. But then you start really seeing like, oh, these people are all living in pain. Oh, they're all trying to just, you know, what was that? Like, it's gone way to the extreme, because now people like get their feelings hurt about everything and think like, if you hurt their feelings, you should go away. It's like, no, you got to get control of your feelings. Like, you got to toughen up a little bit. You can't let every single person out there in the world hurt your little baby feelings. Like, that's not our job, is to protect your feelings. It's your job to notice the trigger when something comes up, to notice it and look at it and try and figure out like, why do I feel raw about this? Why is this bothering me? Why are my feelings hurt? You know, that is your gift from the experience, to look at yourself. So, but, you know, it developed into all of these, you know, little babies that can't handle it if you hurt their feelings. But it is, right now, there's so much arguing on TikTok. There is so much division. Now, I guess I'll just see things pop up. Like, I don't follow all these things. But so you have spiritual TikTok, you have witch TikTok, you have Christian TikTok, I think you have pagan TikTok, like you have conspiracy TikTok, you have, I don't even know, flat earth TikTok. Like, you have all of these different groups that are, you know, their own little group where the people all talk and, you know, like they all know each other or something. And like I said before, when I very first started this, I don't go in to these groups and get all, you know, in these groups. I'm one of these people who just goes around and listens to all different people. I'm like a hummingbird. That's what I'm like. I'm a hummingbird in life. But so you have, you know, these people who gravitate towards each other like, oh, well, we all agree. We all know the truth. So we're going to stick together. And so you have them that form these groups, and then they develop into their, you know, that, what is that? The island, the island mentality, you know, where, okay, this guy's the boss now. Okay, this guy, you know, they all start developing like that. What is that called? The island of the fly. I don't know, but it showed that kind of way. But that is how it develops, you know, all of these different groups. And that's why automatically communities will develop with the hierarchy, with somebody who's like, okay, well, listen to them. Okay, they're the mediator for us all. They'll all develop into that. It's just a natural instinct. It seems to be natural just in all of nature, you know, in a pack or a tribe, that somebody will move up in the ranks to be respected and be the leader. But see, we need to get it to where it is people who we respect. Right now, it's just like, you know, they give us an offering and it's all coming from the same damn pool. So anyways, you know, that's what it's all going to end, because of those toxic behaviors can't continue. The greed, the manipulation, all that stuff can't continue. So that's why it's ending. It's not, you know, us waking up to it and our awareness and our conscious thought of what we want, and we don't want that. That is how we change things. I mean, but we have people who have got all of this, like they want violence and anger and and today I did this video because I saw somebody, because in all these arguing on TikTok, and I saw this person saying that, I mean, there's people are just attacking each other. And there's all these people, who are ready to go and just burn it down and stuff. And to me, this is all of the things happening here in your own personal reality or on this planet right now is to show you who you are, the fabric of man, what you are made of, what is it that creates you, the structure of you. And so this is people's opportunity to see, like, am I an angry, violent, judgmental, mean, vicious person, vindictive? Is that what comes up? Is that what I need to look at? Is that what I need to encounter with myself? Or am I kind and loving and, turn the other cheek and unity, community, and what works best for us all? Let's get in that kind of mind. That shows you what you're made of. Just like when I was saying, like, of all the things, all the experiences I went through, I still stayed true to me. I didn't go and play into that kind of stuff. I didn't, I think probably, there has been probably times when I have laughed at a joke that I didn't think was funny, but I've definitely questioned myself on that even and been like, no, that's not what you do. And, I've always just stayed true to myself. I haven't gotten mean and evil and vindictive. Like, there's so many people who just have so much of that inside of them. And it has to do with the lower chakras. It has to do with not healing your pain, living in pain and suffering, and being so misdirected spiritually. So, I'm not criticizing these people because it is truly that thing. They know not what they do. That is true. They don't understand. But this is our opportunity. That's what Ascension is all about. This is our opportunity to understand, to start understanding who and what we are and why things happen and, the whole process. And there is so many people who are just so three-dimensional thinking. They really, even when they talk about 5D, they just don't wrap their heads around it. So many people just want to jump on the bandwagon. Oh, I'm vegan now, so I'm real spiritual. It's like, that doesn't make you spiritual. People who become spiritual may go vegan, but it's because how they start connecting to their environment, to nature, to who they are and how they want to exist. It shouldn't go just like the two things, like but there's just all these people who just want to jump on the bandwagon and the hierarchy. I got to be better than that one. I'll be better than that one. And so anyways, these groups are imploding upon themselves and there's all this bickering and turning on each other and stuff. So, it's crazy because, I really do think that it is like, if you think of New Age, because this has been stuck on my head for so long because of when I was younger. And when I started reading those, because I already knew, from the time I was little, especially because they were telling me since I was 3 years old is when I can remember. And I asked my mom, I know I was 3 years old when that incident happened, when I acknowledged that I was conversing with someone outside of me, when I was going to go and take that soapy water to my brother and I started conversing with them. They were telling me stuff all the fucking time. That's when they were telling me that we were experiments and we were a zoo or we were being watched and that, there was not Adam and Eve, it was aliens and all this stuff. They were telling me that. When I try and tell people, they would tell, okay, crazy girl. But I already knew. And when I would go to church and this person would be speaking to me, because I had them speaking to me in here, but when these other people would speak to me and I would ask them questions and I would say, there was never answers. And then it would always be like, well, you got to have faith. You just got to believe. You just believe it because you're supposed to believe it. If you believe it, it's true, but just believe it. I'll be like, yeah, but that's blind following. That's not just having faith. Faith isn't blind following like that. Just like whatever they say, you gotta have discernment. Like, it's much more complex and complicated. They try and make everything so small. It's like we're all wrapped up in this little tiny wrapper. But we have to want to bust free. We have to feel like that cocoon is holding us in too tight. We have to want to more for ourselves and bust free out of it. You know what I mean? And so I think that, all of these different people, they are, for one thing, they need to be seen their own side of themselves. Like, how angry and resentful and how quick they are to divide and how quick they are to go towards violence when they do divide. That's been a part of the problem with humanity, is it is offered such a simple life, and it takes that and then moves into destruction. And I definitely, because this is a huge conversation right now too, about what we're doing to the planet and who's really destroying it, and how many people really take it on as their own, like we are ruining the planet. No, we've made a lot of choices. Like when I think about, what people do with clothes, I'll walk around with a sweater with holes in it and stuff. I'll wear something until it's worn out. I'm just not a consumer like that, but I do have a lot of clothes. But then I buy used clothes, something that was trashed to somebody else. And I like to have different outfits for different things, So, I like clothes. I'm one of those people who likes to dress up in costumes. I don't know. I got a little bit of that. We all have a little bit of everything. But seeing what goes on, like malls, and how much clothes go out of malls, and how much clothes, like I go to the thrift store and I get clothes that are still in style. I get clothes that have still got tags on them. I get clothes that a seam went out and somebody didn't even know how to fix it and just throw it away. It's like everything is so disposable. That is in us. That is in humanity. That is something that we are all getting this opportunity to challenge ourselves and look at. That is what is happening. All the stuff about food. And like I said before, I've heard so many people, I'd love to lose 10 or 15 pounds. I need to lose 20 pounds. All these people who are always talking like that. And then all of a sudden, when they start telling us like how much food is toxic, what is really in the fast food, what is really, the chemicals that are making us sick, that are sprayed into our food and processed into our foods and stuff like that. And having to really consider about food. And, at the same time, concurrently, I think it is a word, but, we're having famine. Oh, there's going to be a famine, which, oh my gosh, I saw this video yesterday. And it's a trucker, and she's sitting there waiting to leave her load. And she's talking, and she said, it's weird because she just had a grandbaby, and her daughter's out going from store to store to store looking for, I've got fruit flies everywhere, looking for formula, and there isn't any. And so this trucker's sitting there waiting to leave her load, and she said her truck's full of it. It's like, well, why in the hell? This is what just, oh my gosh, I don't even know. Like, I was driving this truck with this formula. So as she's sitting there and she's looking out, what they're doing is they're taking the pallets. This whole thing is full of pallets. She shows the video. It's full of pallets, all formula. They have a big giant, one of those big giant dump truck things with the thing on the front that pushes. It probably lifts too, but they're taking it and they're destroying it. They're just taking it straight off the truck, straight from the factory, straight out the truck, straight into a parking lot, and destroying it. It's like, woman, why the hell wouldn't you just drive your ass out, go drop your formula off at some place where they're, call your daughter, tell her, hey, tell all the ladies, get down here, we got some. And then, magically, you don't know what happened to your load. You dropped it at that place. They probably just forgot to register it. Like, but see, that's got to be inside of people. What are you willing to lose? What are you willing to risk while this is going on? And I just know I would have been somebody who was, helping the slaves cross, down, with the when they were helping them escape from, supposedly in our history, that when they were helping them escape the Underground Railroad. Like, I would have been one of those people. I would have been somebody who was hiding Anne Frank. I know who I am at my core. And I don't get how so many people just, like, oh, well, what are you going to do? Oh, well, I don't know what else we can do. Well, that shows the fabric you're made of. It's the cords that create you. Who are you? That's what you're trying to understand. And the whole thing is, too, is why you can't get all caught up in it, is because everybody's playing a part for this movie. So we have to have people playing these parts, because that's how we get the whole scenario. That's how we get the whole vision, the whole perspective, the whole view. It is, so we have to have all these people playing all these different parts. But there's just so much madness. Like, there's so much division, there's so many people arguing and fighting, and it's like, oh my God, you're even fighting in your own groups. Like, how are we supposed to create unity? Like, that is where you got to see that some of these people are just not ready for moving into that kind of society. Like, I really do think there is going to be a big, like, reduction, a quick reduction. And I don't know, the girl who I saw talking about the DNA, the double helix on top of the water bottle, she was saying that she had been watching all this stuff about the waters. Like, she had been, that watched the water had really stuck out to her. And it had to me too. I'm constantly like trying to figure out the water. That's why I'm like, the firmament, and there's a wake, and is the firmament going to fall? Like, I'm always talking about the water. And she said the same thing, and she was going through all of the things. And I was like, yeah, I totally relate. And then when she got to that part and she started explaining that and then pulling up the data and stuff, I was like, oh my God, we already know they're turning off people's immunity, but it's going further than that. They're doing something, they're doing something to try and change us, like our entire wiring. And, I don't know. I know that everything's going to be okay. I know everything turns out all right. It's disturbing to watch all of this. It's disturbing to know you're being fumigated and to take a breath. It's disturbing to have to eat something when you know it's covered with poison. Yesterday, I cooked all these vegetables, and I made this big curry. And I made enough, when I was adding all these vegetables, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. So this giant curry. But I was like, well, I don't have to cook for a couple days. I can just eat this. It's really good. And but when I was washing all the vegetables, it was like, wash them, then scrub them off a little, wash them some more. It's like, how do we even know? And they know how to do water activated stuff. They know how to they put it in the goddamn seeds so it grows this shit. Like, everything they know, that they're doing it. It's frustrating. And this is, I've said this for so long. This is the part that gets frustrating, is how are, when you're a hologram, how do they have this kind of control? Is it just having an awareness? But you need to have the awareness, because otherwise you're sick and you don't know why you're sick, which I would say it's a frequency that interferes with who and what we project. So, I don't know. There's just, but one thing I wanted to say also, because yesterday when I was talking about, relationships and stuff like that, like there's just, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff with people in all relationships, just like these friend groups or these, whatever they want to call themselves, these little micro groups that are developing all over and then turning on themselves and who they consider to be their friends or alliances or peer group or whatever. But this, let me think what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. So but with my ex, so the last one, the one that was always like, he was going to kill himself. I didn't want it to seem like I was coming across like, because I definitely, like, I don't even know. It was shortly after that when I was so suicidal, when I was sitting in there, like, oh my God. So, did I have to feel that, what he felt all the time? But I have been in other relationships where I had felt like that, where I had felt like Suicide's the only way out. I'll never get out of this if I don't kill myself, you know? And so I understand that feeling of, feeling trapped and not knowing how to get out of something. And, and then also in that relationship, I was the one who was pushed off the merry-go-round because I was the one who was willing to try and play by the rules. Like, well, we've got debts, we've got loans, we've got this, we've got that. Like the new camper, the new truck we had just bought, the house, all of this stuff that we were paying to redo in the house. And, he was starting this business too. I took out this huge loan to him to start this business. And we had this other business. And so I was just trying to like make do. But the thing that was blowing my mind is like, you're the one who causes all the chaos in our life. And then me complaining about it, you want to kill yourself? Like, how do you not think like, I want to kill myself? Like, you're the one who, like, I have to walk on eggshells. You're the one who comes home, you may spend the whole night crying and, oh, well, you're just not there for me. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. And just whine and cry for fucking 6 hours of the night. Or are you going to, have a frenzied fit and start breaking everything? And that is the thing. It's like, one of us is not causing all the chaos in the house. You're the one who wants to kill themselves. So that is where you have to be like, this person is so full of their own pain and suffering. Whatever challenges I made for him, it was way too much. He couldn't deal with anything. He couldn't deal with his own emotions. He couldn't deal with his own, his own mind. There was no mind control of his own. He was just always in some sort of state of emotional distress. He was always falling apart. And I was willing to put up with that, to play by the rules, to have somebody in case I needed a ride somewhere or something. And that is all these things I had to look out for myself. Like, how much madness are you willing to endure for a fucking ride? And that's why, I'm going through that and having to face those things and see those things for myself. And then when I'm around other people and they're doing it, I can't play along. I have to say the truth. I have to tell what I see. I have to tell what I went through. And that I know is uncomfortable for some people, but I'm really, really to that point of like, I don't want to be around people who are not actively healing themselves and trying to do better for themselves, that are just willing to stay a part of the system and actively not living life to their purpose or their best thing. Like, I'm all about it. Like, if you want to do your healing, like, I'm not going to, turn my back on you. But if you want to just, oh man, my joints are like crickly right now. Like, which I know that's inflammation, which I know is chemical poisoning. So, but anyways, for people who are just like, whiny and just like, well, I have to stay in this, I don't have any choice and I won't have enough money and stuff like that. Held back by their fears, held back by like, oh, well, it has to be this way because I can't do better for myself. I can't do anything about it. People my age who feel like they can't control themselves. And this, and I have somebody in mind, and they've been on my mind a lot. So I know that I'm on their mind a lot. And, and I know this person really feels a strong connection to me. And I've talked about that before, of how strange it is, because I don't see any connection whatsoever. Like, you're religious and I'm spiritual. I am age of Aquarius. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that new age thing. I'm age of Aquarius and you are, you want to watch the neighbors die for, Food Alliance or whatever. And, there's just a lot of stuff, I don't want to tell somebody's all their personal stuff, but to me, all of the things that made us different kept standing out. And I know this person looks at it differently than I do. And so I just have thought about this a lot, and about how people look at things and what they're willing to accept. And how many people go and be friends with somebody even when you don't even like the person or anything that they stand for. Like, it just is, I don't know. I don't know. It weirds me out, because sometimes you have to be the bad guy. Like, I've already come to this thing where I'm going to just have to say, like, I don't really see anything that we have in common, like because every time, this person will ask me over or ask me to do something, it hurts their feelings so much. And that is, and that is how these toxic things develop. Like, I shouldn't have to be responsible for your feelings. You should be able to everybody should be able to take no for an answer, but everybody should also be able to be, let me think of how to explain it, because it is kind of, everybody should look deeper and be more flexible and stuff like that. But oh man, it was such a good point. Oh, I don't know how I lost that. Anyways, I feel like, we all need to kind of think about, like, are you hanging out with somebody that you really don't like, but you're just hanging out with them because, I don't know, they're your cousin or whatever? Because we should all be able to say our truth. We should be able to say the truth. And, if it hurts somebody's feelings, that shouldn't be the thing. That shouldn't be where, I have to worry about your feelings to talk and say my truth. And if I say my truth and it's not in alignment with you, we should be able to recognize, we just don't vibe. We're not on the same wavelength. And if that's important to you, then that is when we need to just part ways. We don't really have anything left to learn from each other. And to me, see, that's how I look at it. I look at it all like, I don't want to be hanging out with somebody I'm not in vibration with. That's what's so, it's so clear to me being out here and feeling so isolated in every conversation. Anytime you try and talk to anybody about anything, it's just this fake, weird conversation. They all believe the shit. They all fucking believe it. Like, there is no, I don't know, no awakening, no awareness. That's what I had said for so long. It's like, nobody has any awareness. Nobody's paying any attention to anything. They're all just absorbed with their own drama. So, and, knowing out here, they're being fumigated. There's something they're doing to these people. It makes them just a bunch of mindless zombies. I've said they were zombies since the beginning. But to me, there does become a place or a point in your healing where you just want to be around people who are on this higher vibration, that talk about things or look at things. They don't have to just look at what you look at or see things the way you see things, but it is just a higher kind of vibration. And so it's a way of looking up out of the water, it's like looking up, looking out, seeing more, whatever it is they see. I swear, I follow people all the time. Whatever they see is the fact that they are seeing more, that they're looking at things in a bigger way. I start following them because I know they're questioning things. And those are people that are going to, share their insights and talk about what they are acknowledging and what they are witnessing. And that to me is what is important. And that to me is where I vibe. And that's why I don't go in and, they're a spiritual TikTok, or are they a pagan, or are they a Christian, or whatever. I go in and listen to all different people. And some of them, if they start just, praise the Jesus. Jesus is coming to save us. Jesus is going to be here soon. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Sometimes I'll just unfollow them if it's just like too much. It's like, okay. And, and I welcome anybody to unfollow me if I'm too much, if I'm always talking too much weird shit. Yesterday, I put this post, I thought it was so funny, and I cannot quit looking at it and laughing. It just cracks me up. I was getting ready for bed or whatever. I was doing something this evening, and, they're always telling me stuff. And so they gave me this one, and I did this video, and it was, I just have to put this out there that I identify as an eternal galactic warrior princess. And my pronouns are God and Goddess. I cannot quit laughing about it. I don't know why. It's silly, but I think it is. It is, though it's true. You know, it is. I do identify as something that is not of this place, of something that thinks outside of this box, that opens my mind to something that is out there. I do know my own power. I do understand that we are gods and goddesses. And so, anyways, because there's all these people, you know, I mean, you got people who identify as animals now, as I guess some schools have litter boxes. Like there's weird shit. So anyways, it seemed like there was a few more things that I wanted to say. And I've seen so many, like there really does feel like this huge, like I feel like it is kind of like a firework show, and fireworks going off or something. Right now it feels like towards the end of the show, when it starts being like that big drama where there's a whole bunch going and there's all these fireworks, and all of a sudden it goes into the grand finale and it's just an explosion of a whole bunch of them. I feel like we're in that pre-explosion. I feel like there's just so much chaos, so much just fireworks going off all over the place, which, you know, really gives me hope that we are to that, you know, we're to the finale. But, you know, and also this stuff with, there's so much goddamn, it is so easy for them to just pull out Trump and then just, oh, look at this, we got another argument going. Oh my God, it is mental. It is absolutely mental that how simple it is for them to just do any little thing, and they don't even have to have a good cause. Like, all they got to do, these people who really believe that he's done all this stuff, is go listen to every whistleblower. This is what they do. They try and destroy your character. And that is what they're doing to him, because he has had the audacity to try and tell us that there is people who don't have our best interest in mind. And we've done the research and we agree. We see what's happening, you know? And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I definitely know that we are, you know, however we transition into these changes, if there is going to be some sort of bigger leader like that, like a federal kind of leader, but it's not going to be for our future. It is going to go down into communities, and I don't know how bad things are going to get. Like, there's so much doomsday conspiracy theorists and so many people hyper alert to every single thing going on. There's so much happening. Like seriously, I mean, a fucking California could have a giant earthquake today and half of it fall in, you know, like anything can happen at any moment. And it's going to be big and it's going to be tragic. I for sure think that. And you know, and I don't know what it is, but a lot of people are going to leave when it happens. But after it happens and all of this chaos and this shit starts going down, and there starts being a change in the money and the leadership and all of that stuff, and what people, like I heard there's some psychic or something saying that there's going to be something big that's going to happen. I don't know if it's this week or next week. It's soon. Some big medical thing, like something's either going to be released, announced, something more big than what's already happening, that is going to, oh, and it's going to, this person was saying we're going to go into a lockdown, like a serious lockdown. Like, you keep hearing this stuff and hearing this stuff. And then after that, like, there's going to be some announcement why we're in this. It all lines up with the same things that I've heard for years and years and years from all these different psychics. Something is going to happen, and then we're going to be locked down, and then the TV is going to come on and it's going to start telling us all this stuff, and people are going to get so angry that is going to be this huge awakening. I don't know. You know, something's going to happen for sure. Something horrible. A lot of people are going to die. And all I know is that, you know, what is going to come is a lot of healing, a lot of people having to heal. And then, you know, we're going to start rebuilding. When we start rebuilding, that is when we're going to be creating the new world, you know, in the new world as we create it, which will be all different for all different places, you know, just like that's the joy of traveling, is go to different places to see how they exist, to see how, you know, what are their structures, how do they run their communities. You know, that's what makes traveling interesting, and it makes you more culturally diverse when you have, you know, expanded yourself to see, oh, other people live this way, other people live this way. Oh, and people can live with nothing and be happier than the people here who have everything. So, you know, I think it's gonna still go like that. There'll be really small communities. There'll be large communities. There'll be all sorts of communities, and they'll all be different. And it's going to be unique. But I think that the communities will be more self-governing. And, you know, it will be more like that. And it's not going to just be like criminals going from place to place, because you won't be able to exist in that reality if that is your vibration, to hurt others. So that is part of the reason too why there's going to be a big, you know, that split in the reality, that going in two different places for us, for the two different groups, it's going to probably seem like everybody just died, and then your reality continues. And, you know, I guess at some point we'll all be like, oh, you're still in my reality. Oh, you're still here. Like, I don't know. So anyways, I think it is, I do feel energetically like we're at this part where all of these fireworks are going off, and we're close to that, you know, grand finale. So we can only hope. But anyways, I know there was some more stuff. There seems like there's just so much stuff that is going on that I could talk about. Like, I'll see stuff and I'll be like, oh, I got to talk about that. Oh, I got to talk about that. But anyways, everything is for you to learn to see yourself more clearly. That's the whole point of why you're here. And if people could just start understanding that, but they get all caught up in the game and they just want to, you know, the game. It's all about the game. But anyways, I'm leveled up. You know, I'm ready for that next phase. So I'm excited for what's to come. And hopefully you are too. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.